Welcome to our deep dive all about India's healthcare sector. It's booming, but we're going to figure out exactly why.
Exactly. And especially for you, we're going to focus on all the exciting investment opportunities.
Yeah, did you know India's healthcare market is going to hit like $638 billion by 2025?
It's crazy. And that's not all. It's already one of the world's biggest destinations for medical tourism, with millions of patients coming every year.
It's like the place to go if you need a procedure. Like, did you know that surgeries in India can cost like 80% less than in developed countries?
It's true, it's way more affordable. But that's not the only reason it's so attractive. India also has this massive and super skilled medical workforce.
Really?
Yeah, in the last 10 years, the number of doctors has more than doubled.
Wow. But I did read somewhere that India's doctor-to-patient ratio is still pretty low, like 1 to 1,500.
Yeah, that's right. The demand for healthcare is huge. It's definitely outpacing the supply of doctors, especially in rural
So
areas.
there's still a lot of room for growth then.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of potential. Huge unmet needs all across the healthcare system.
So we've got this growing demand, we've got the cost advantage, we've got a skilled workforce.
Yeah.
But what about the government? Are they doing anything to support this whole healthcare boom?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The government is really key to driving growth. They've got a bunch of initiatives to boost healthcare access and infrastructure.
Such as?
Well, they're trying to increase public health spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2025, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, that is. Are there any specific programs that they're implementing to, reach those goals?
Well, one major one is the Ayushman Bharat scheme.
Uh-huh.
It's this huge undertaking to give health insurance to over 100 million families. It's massive.
Wow. The world's largest government-funded healthcare program.
That's it.
That's got to be helping a lot of people. And what about tech? What about digital transformation in Indian healthcare?
Oh, yeah. That's another big focus. So the government is pushing for things like the National Digital Health Mission,
Yeah.
which is basically trying to make a unified health information system for the whole country.
This is more efficient.
Yeah, more efficient, more transparency, easier access to healthcare data.
So it's not just like building new hospitals.
Right. It's about modernizing the whole system.
With technology.
Exactly. And this is opening up a ton of opportunities for investments in stuff like telemedicine, AI-powered diagnostics, all sorts of health tech solutions.
So the government is serious about making healthcare affordable and accessible for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But what about opportunities outside of those traditional hospitals? Where else are things growing? Where's the innovation happening?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
We're seeing big growth in things like telemedicine, connecting those patients in remote areas with specialists in big cities.
Makes sense.
This is expected to be a $5.4 billion market by 2025.
Wow. That's a lot of growth. Sounds like tech is really closing that gap in healthcare access.
It is. And there's also this rising interest in traditional Indian medicine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stuff like Ayurveda, yoga, the whole AYUSH sector.
Right.
It's already worth more than $50 billion, and it's catching global attention.
That's awesome. So it's like India's combining the modern with the traditional.
Yeah, kind of like this move towards holistic healthcare, prevention, wellness, personalized care.
That's fascinating. This is all really exciting stuff. But are there any specific specialties or areas within healthcare that stand out as good investments?
Oh, tons. We can get into all of that after a quick break.
So let's talk about those specific areas in India's healthcare sector that are really attracting investors.
All right, well, let's start with the most obvious one, healthcare infrastructure. India has a population that's just growing so fast, and the need for hospitals and clinics and diagnostic centers, it's just skyrocketing.
Yeah, makes sense, right? More people, more need for healthcare. But how big is this opportunity?
It's huge. I mean, India needs something like 3 million more hospital beds by 2025.
3 million. That's almost like building a whole new healthcare system.
It is. It is. And it's not just about quantity,
Right.
There's a rising demand for high-quality health care.
Of course, yeah.
Stuff that meets international standards. Investors want to bring in expertise and technology and create these world-class facilities.
That can attract both, domestic and international patients.
Exactly.
So it's not just about building basic hospital
No. It's about specialized centers of excellence.
for a more demanding patient base.
Yeah. And there are a few specific areas to watch within all of this, like cardiac care. The demand is just rising so rapidly.
Okay.
India has a really high rate of heart disease and not enough specialized hospitals or cardiologists.
So if you're an investor looking to build a state-of-the-art cardiac care center,
You're tapping into a huge market.
untapped, underserved market.
Yeah, and this applies to other specialties too.
Uh-huh.
Oncology, orthopedics, neurology, all these areas need more specialized care and advanced facilities.
Sounds like there's a big opportunity to bring in cutting-edge medical technology and really, like, change people's lives.
Absolutely. And speaking of technology, let's not forget about medical devices.
Right.
India imports a ton of its medical devices, but the government is trying to get domestic manufacturing going.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier with stuff like the production-linked incentive scheme.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, like, become a hub for medical device production.
Exactly. And this is, again, huge for investors
Yeah.
who are maybe looking to set up manufacturing facilities or partner with companies in India or invest in R&D.
So we've got infrastructure, we've got medical devices. What about pharma? India is, like, known as the pharmacy of the world, right?
Yeah.
For their generic drug production.
That's right.
But are there opportunities beyond just generics?
Oh, totally. So India will definitely keep being a big player in generics,
Uh-huh.
but there's this shift towards more research and development of new drugs. The government is giving companies incentives to go beyond just copying existing drugs and really invest in innovation.
So, like, it become a global hub for pharmaceutical innovation, not just manufacturing.
Yeah. And this is attracting big pharma companies.
Okay.
They're setting up research centers, partnering with Indian companies to come up with brand new drugs.
It's interesting to see how India is, like, evolving from that kind of, like, low-cost manufacturing to this hub for, like, cutting-edge research and development.
Yeah, it is.
But what about the more traditional side of healthcare? What's happening with the AWUSH sector?
AYUH is booming.
Okay.
It's booming both in India and globally.
Right.
There's this interest in holistic wellness and traditional healing, and India is seen as the leader in that.
Yeah.
We talked about the size of the market earlier.
Yeah.
But there are tons of different opportunities within AYUH.
Like what? What kinds of things?
Well, investments in wellness retreats, in Ayurvedic clinics, in the production of herbal medicines, organic health products, all of that. And also a growing market for yoga teacher training and Ayurveda education.
So investors can really tap into that global wellness movement
Right.
through, like, traditional Indian practices.
Yeah.
It's like ancient wisdom meeting modern business.
And it's driving demand for research, for clinical trials, to really validate these treatments and integrate them into healthcare.
So it's not about replacing modern medicine.
Yeah. No.
It's about finding ways to combine them, to enhance it.
It's an integrative approach to healthcare, and it's attracting a lot of interest from patients and investors who want more personalized, more holistic solutions.
Yeah, this has been awesome,
Yeah.
exploring all these different facets of India's healthcare sector. We've covered so much, all the growth drivers, specific sectors that are really good for investment, the different regions, and the potential of technology.
Yeah, and we've really only just touched the surface.
I know, it's so dynamic.
It's constantly evolving.
So for investors, what's the one key takeaway you would give them?
I would say India's healthcare sector is just overflowing with potential.
Uh-huh.
It's got this growing population, rising incomes, and a government that's really committed to making healthcare better. This is a really unique opportunity for investors, not just to make money, but to make a difference in the lives of millions of people.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been such an insightful deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Mhm.
We've talked about, like, the big trends in specific sectors, but India is so big. Are there any specific regions that are, like, becoming healthcare hubs?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are opportunities all over, but some areas are definitely pulling ahead.
Okay.
Like Telangana, it's becoming a big center for medical tourism and healthcare innovation.
What's making Telangana so successful?
Well, they've put a lot into infrastructure. They're attracting healthcare providers from India and other countries.
Okay.
They're working on building a skilled workforce, promoting research and development.
So it's like a combo of the government taking action, private investment, and focusing on, like, creating a strong healthcare ecosystem. Exactly. Is Telangana the only one?
Oh, no, there are others. Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, they're all making big progress.
So there's some competition, like who can be the healthcare leader?
Kind of, yeah. And that's good for patients. It pushes everyone to do better, be more innovative.
Better access to quality care.
Right.
Now, before we finish up, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, AI and machine learning. Seems like that's where things could really change.
Yeah, definitely. We're already seeing AI used for diagnostics, personalized medicine, drug discovery, but that's just the start. Think about AI platforms that could predict diseases, personalize treatments, even help with surgery.
That sounds so futuristic, but it's happening now.
It is.
What kind of impact do you think that'll have on healthcare in India?
I mean, it could totally change how healthcare is delivered, make it more efficient, more affordable, and accessible. Imagine AI telemedicine reaching people in villages, connecting them to specialists.
It's amazing to think about. But any new technology
Mhm.
has challenges, right? Risks. What should we be thinking about as AI becomes more a part of healthcare?
Well, data privacy and security are big ones.
Yeah, with all that patient data.
Exactly.
Mhm.
AI needs that data to work, so making sure it's handled ethically and responsibly is super important.
What about jobs? Is AI going to replace doctors and nurses?
I don't think it'll replace them completely. It's more likely to help them do their jobs better.
Okay.
Free them up to focus on the things that need that human touch, human judgment, empathy.
So it's more about humans and machines working together.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that could create a healthcare system that works better for everyone.
This has been a great deep dive looking at all the different parts of India's healthcare system. We talked about what's driving growth, the good investment areas, the differences by region, and the potential of technology.
Yeah, and we've learned so much.
I know. India's healthcare sector is so interesting.
So dynamic, so much is happening.
What's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
India's healthcare sector is full of potential. It has a growing population, people are earning more, and the government is really pushing to make healthcare better. For investors, this is a chance to not just make money, but to make a real difference in people's lives.
That's a great point. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been insightful and inspiring. We'll see you on the next one.